Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 4 p.m. session of the 2016 Open Simulator Community Conference. As a reminder to our in-world and web audience, you can view the full conference schedule at conference.opensimulator.org and tweet your questions or comments to @OpenSimCC with the hashtag OSCC16. This hour, we are happy to introduce the session called Senses Places, Mixed Reality Participatory Performance. I am Cynthia Cologne, your moderator. Our speaker today is Isabel Valverde. Isabel Valverde, aka Butler 2 Evelyn, is a transdisciplinary performer, choreographer, and scholar from Portugal. She may be currently in Brazil. She researches and coordinates the Center for Arts and Technologies Institute for Human Studies and Intelligent Sciences, including performance practice theory, cross-disciplinary and cultural collaboration, participatory performance environments, somatic-based choreography, and experience design. Over to you, Isabel.
All right, well, thanks a lot for the introduction. I may say that actually, currently, I'm no longer part of the IZEC, so in the Center for Art and Technology, but I'm doing a postdoc. Somehow it didn't get updated, my bio, but I'm at Brazil, yes, at Salvador, da Bahia. At the Universidade Federal de Bahia, doing a postdoc on the dance and technology over at the postgraduate studies in dance there at School of Dance that is making this year 70 years. It's one of the pioneers dance in Brazil, studies in dance. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm actually coordinating a lab, a new motion capture lab. So having the opportunity to develop this including this project at that lab where it's going on already since August, I mean. So giving my thanks to the team there at the laboratory mocap, and also my collaborators throughout the world. And I will pass now already to my slide that is exactly the collaborators, which are, once the project is going already for, since, to be through, like since 2007, 2008, it started with another project called Real Virtual Games, and then it turned over to follow up. So it's really an ongoing research art project, and with technology, of course. And it came to be weathering in as we involved another project that focused more on like the relation with the environment, internal climate of bodies, embodied climate, and the external climate. So this was like bringing the vision even more ambitious somehow. And the early collaborators was myself and a team in Portugal mainly, with a project called T-Dance, and this was the Real Virtual Games. So basically starting with, and that at that time also Todd Cochrane started right away. He's a developer in New Zealand. He was at Welltech Institute, and now he's at Nelson Marlborough Institute. And also Ana Moura Santos, she's a mathematics professor at Universidade Technical University of Lisbon, where I was first, in the group called VINI, Visualizations and Intelligent Multimodal Interfaces. the team early on was a little smaller, but already with Todd Cochrane, basically a specialist in Second Life, already using Second Life for teaching by 2008. And also we got also from start collaborating with the Japanese team, with Yoshiko Shuma or Yukihiko Yoshida. Kai Ishimoto was joined later on, but Keiji Mitsuguchi at Hollywood, I forgot now the name, but in Tokyo, is also a developer there of Second Life, using it also like Todd Cochrane. And we had also collaborators with choreographers Jun McKean and Yumi Zagara. They no longer kind of participate, so Kai Ishimoto is also choreographer. All of them in Butoh. If you don't know, it's a dance, more contemporary dance genre developed from Japan and kind of spread throughout the world. But they are not only pure Butoh dancers, like we are all in a way mixing different approaches. But just to go on with, so we then continue to have, as the project developed, we got connected with, but we are a bit alone in Second Life with like the approach, the artistic approach we had. But then we find the Odyssey, performance art and contemporary art and performance simulated. And so there we found like the art community more oriented towards experimental art, performance art, critical approaches, which we felt really at home. And there, like, we start participating in some festivals, and we got some other artist collaborators interested, like Tikesh Babenko. Actually, she's in the audience, I believe. Maybe not. Save Me Ho, and others. Ska Shilova. And also we start to also get other Portuguese people. I mean, Tikesh Babenko is Portuguese, but also we start to have like other Portuguese people involved, artists, Clara Gomes, and I'm forgetting a very special person. She's also curator and of the Odyssey open scene in Second Life. They are also moving into other open scene besides Second Life. So the list is pretty long, and I just let you like to read more. But like Isa Seppi from Brazil, and so other Portuguese that collaborated in different areas. So basically, in the performance itself, in the interfaces, we besides Todd Cochrane, we had Patrick Hurt also in New Zealand. Also Artica, that build we talk later, the first biometric interface. Sacabral, also with the environment, like the architecture of the physical environment. The architecture of the virtual environment, I took part in terms of like the projection, but then who actually did it was Todd Cochrane too, and Paulo Fernandes. His name is Genius in Second Life. Nick Hotwheel also built an interface for outputting the sound from the biometric device. Mick Mengucci also in Portugal, although he's Italian. Is participating in like other interfaces with the sound that he builds. And José Coelho, the biometric interface, also we have it added like some wind, some ventilators connected with the biometric device, like the heart rate and the piezo, like capturing the inner sounds and sound vibrations. So I may forget some other people, like actually Fernando Cassola Marques. He also helped develop the Kinect interface that we almost got it, but then it was discontinued. So we almost got the smoke up like in real time for Second Life, but it's discontinued. So hopefully, actually, will be coming. So and below you can see like the support we have. We've been going to different festivals and also conference like IZEA, SDHS is Dance Society of Dance History Scholars, DHRA, the Digital Humanities Research in the Arts, and basically and others. So so I'm going over then to discuss a bit about the vision and where we're coming from, where we want actually for like thinking about the future, like it's the main theme of the conference. The project is very much like since the beginning questioning basically the substitution of the body, of our physical body, by our avatars, and by we just clicking and our avatars moving. And so I'm starting then with continuing with the somatic dance technology approach, or somatic and technology dance approach, what I said, just to get some references from where do we take the dance into these embodied mediated interfaces with the project. And they come very much from my own practice in these fields, and they are very much like a hybrid movement practices, more coming from therapies that integrate a lot of Eastern movement practices, as you see in the slide, Tai Chi, yoga, Aikido, meditation, Reiki, and many others that got integrated, and some Western practices and for therapy, and then later being used and developed for artistic practice in dance and also performance. And then there are also the already hybrid dance genres that encompass these both, all these practices or principles from these practices, and also forms, ancient forms, and those practice connected or applied with the technological dance approaches, like give rise to kinds of interaction that we are developing in this project. But there are other works that also develop this practice, although I think it's still an emerging field of artistic practice and research. So in going now to the mixed reality participatory performance environment, like the whole body interfaces that we have developed since the beginning. So you see there are like 4 interfaces. We also worked with another one, the Kinect interface, where we almost got the avatar to, actually we got avatar to move with our physical movements, although it was just local, not in world, so no one could see us move. So I think that is like still in development. We hope it will soon be available, like this kind of interaction. I think it will be a revolution for interacting in world and bringing more, converging more physical and virtual reality. But so we go over a little bit on the video live stream interface, just shortly, and then we will focus more on the webcam and biometric device. The Wiimote will not refer, because it's although was very nice, it will enable the movement in the physical space as well as in the virtual space, with the movement just with the Wiimote, like up and down and turning it as we move forward and back and around. So we will get this the same movement of the avatar, which was very like being two places at the same time. But this was just working for particular machines, particular OS, like even Mac, and I think it didn't work for PC, so very limited, and we kind of discontinued. When we worked with the Kinect interface, it replaced that, so the avatar also move around as we move in the physical space. So talking about the first interface we used was only just with avatars. We had the mock-up movements, animations that we put in World, uploaded, and then we will just play with these animations, clicking and having the avatars dance, shifting the animation as is usual done in the virtual world, in metaverse. So with this video stream, we were able to somehow get ourselves there, our image, and have this almost simulated interaction where the avatars could watch us live, and we could or not see them interacting with us. In this situation, that the project was still titled Real Virtual Games. That's where it started, and this was at OSCC gallery in Second Life, and the event was the Zeitgeist in 2010. That's when we kind of started with this telematic streaming, and this was in Lisbon. There was like a lot of avatars, actually. Most were artists, performance artists, and gathering together. And we were doing we were like also an event in contact improvisation jam, where I integrated this most expanded improvisation with avatars. Another situation was like streaming the very virtual world, so we could choose from like streaming the virtual world or the physical. And here is like an example of performance also at Odyssey, like close to that other one in 2010, where they're like streaming the avatars that we were like capturing. Really like this image. Actually, the image is from Paul Ferdinand, like an avatar that participated. So regarding just I think it's good to mention like the different spaces. While we first had like a matching of a physical space where we performed first the Real Virtual Games in Lisbon. Then we developed this kind of space after we had a sphere, a closed sphere, and that it looked like we were like only in a simulation of a physical space, as you see in the photos mapped in these half spheres. They were like from New Zealand, sky, and also like a beach in Portugal somewhere. So we opened like to have these converging worlds where we could be at the same time like with like simulation of Second Life itself, of clouds and ocean, and bring also textures from the physical world. This way it was more open. We could be in kind of more two places in different environments. And then this was at Welltech, New Zealand, the school, Wellington Institute of Technology, and they had this called, forget what they called this island, but they discontinued because that's when they started to be paid. So as you see the screens there, like for different streams, like first we had our own stream, and then we started to have streams including our Japanese collaborators, and also from Newfoundland with Liz Solo. So we had like three, we didn't have too many more, but at least we have 3 different locations streaming when was possible. Sometimes it was not possible. And this is like the most recent space. It's a bit like far away, but it got again like a sphere. And this is designed by Paulo Fernandes. The previous one was actually designed by myself with Todd Cochrane that built the environment in Second Life. And this one was built by and designed by Paulo Fernandes, his genius in Second Life, which is a kind of a dome. And this was interesting because at that time we were performing actually in a physical dome, a half-sphere dome in somewhere in Algarve. Someone invited us to, and also in the context of a contact improvisation festival. So this was a very interesting coincidence. This is also from inside that space. And I wanted to just refer to an important aspect of collaboration from Save Me Hope, who brings a whole liveness and dynamic to the space. As you may know, like she wears like spaces, and she transformed the spaces where she is. And in fact, we are thinking about stepping out of this space because it somehow becomes a bit too small, and for what we can do, the possibilities that we can do with transforming the space, like as we want to do, I'll talk later with interfaces, like the biometric interfaces, to also with the relation bio and environment. The spheres, like white spheres, are actually screens in the space, where we will have the streams. Right now there was no stream going, but that was the idea. And right now we want to continue to have these streams, but maybe have just like some kind of half spheres around. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt, there was someone starting some music, just interrupt. So that's the idea too, as much as there are like people in different remote space coming together, we want to have like many bigger screens and not so much a closed, I mean, this is not a closed space, so it's still open. You can see the Second Life or the virtual world outside. but we want to make it more. I was actually thinking about also again cutting it and opening up, so it's not so like a more closed and smaller environments for what we want, or the possibilities of what we still can do. This is like a different environment. So this is the architectonic aspects of the environment, which I think is an important interface. It's not the types of interface, but it's actually the embodied interface that we encounter as we visit. The visitants come to interact as in the physical and the virtual spaces, kind of talking with each other and converging. So here you see this was in a presentation in the project Metabody, Metatopia. It's like a EU project, and we were part in this exhibition called Metatopia last year, and we had like they proposed to us to be in a sort of a tent. There were like different tents. So first we thought, this is kind of interesting. So we like site specific, and so we managed to actually project the virtual environment into this tent. With the avatar could only be seated, so people enter this kind of sort of tent and are also seated and interacting with avatars. As you can see, someone's hands and arms also moving with avatar. This was very interesting because it was like getting a very intimate space of interaction, and then people, as we want, like people interact with avatar, and then they also interact with each other, like touching, and so as if the mediated interaction will be like a mean to also get people to interact physically. So this is one aspect that is important for at least for my part, or when we will do it in a public space or within an exhibition of some sort as an environment. So I'm passing now to the webcam interface. This is the first webcam interface that we developed by Todd Cochrane. That it's more like for upper body, like as you see the skeleton. So you access this in a browser, and then put your avatar name and then a code, and then you just connect and come back to the virtual space. I mean, this is activated through an object that we share. And as after wearing it, we just click in the icon, and then get this say the code, the registration, and the site where this is. So this was first developed in around 2010 to 2011, and so we could map different animations into the points. So corresponding to the head, arms, and torso. As we developed it, then we started to also use the stream. So we first just used the webcam to watch the avatars changing. So we will put 4 different animations in each of those points. And so as the person movement will move these balls, these spheres, one of these 4 animations will be activated. So we like this aspect of aleatory, which and somehow improvised approach, very much like we mentioned in the beginning, like coming and then expanding through mediated interactions. So in this way, we all we work together. Like I worked alone, but also mostly I like to work with someone. And Ana Moura, I'm in white and Ana Moura in red. She will work together. We will work together. So we will interact with our avatars or each other's avatars, and as well as physically. So although here we're not touching, but we will have this expanded improvisation, expanded movement in like being aware of our touch, the avatars, where was the camera. So more and more acknowledging different perceptions, and that was the goal of the project. So with this, like we will also, because there was only upper body, we will then run one animation, like a dance with, here was, I think was a kind of belly dancing or something, and then actually something else, but then the animation will be distorted with these other movements. And the movements were at the beginning were very much like for each, like just the arm or just the head or torso changing and having sometimes awkward and non-human movements, distortions. And we very much like this, again, with our approach, more like approaching Butoh, or more like some movement coming from the body that you don't know what it is coming out. So then this interface was then transformed then recently, like from last year, through the master degree of master research with from Joana Martins at Universidade de Lisboa, and she developed like a full body interface following the previous one, which we also want to keep, because maybe there's people cannot stand, and so it's more appropriate for them to stay seated and still interact with their upper body. I didn't mention, but we also turn it over, like this limitation of just moving the upper body, starting to put animations of full body into the different body parts. Instead of just moving the head, like we will use a movement, we will put the movement where the head was an emphasis in the whole body movement. So to get some aleatory, but also some kind of logic to the choreography, to the approach. And so this one, we will have seven points for the interacting. And this is like, you see these areas of the around each ball. So that's like the areas where it covers the movement. So it's still a bit limited, like to staying a bit in space, but we try not to be very strict about like that we move the hand with our hand, or coincide with the part of the body we're moving. So we are like very loose, and it still works very well. And we will have like also movements only of the body parts, and along with movements of the whole body, where that part is emphasized. So we kept the same kind of principles of like choreographing the interface that will respond to our very movements, physical movements. One aspect of the choreography here, like the process of building this interface, was that we had to learn some first, like in the development of this interface, like Joana is from a ballet background, so she will have very symmetrical movements. She built the movements to add here with Avimator, key Avimator. So, but everything was very symmetrical, very pointed, and very centered, very vertical. So I asked her to allow more movement, and also like trunk movement, asymmetrical, not pointed, like even distorted still, to be added. So I kind of the choreographic aspect was kind of followed up, and so we had to learn also to put, like as we did here with the slides, like to put, like how to bring the animations into the script so that they could be activated. And this is actually some that we also continue to share with anyone that comes to our space in Second Life and hopefully in OpenSea. And they can bring their animations inside and interact with their own animations or the animations that people choose. So here an aspect of myself in interacting, so with the interface, as you see, some coincide with my body parts, some not as much, but it's part of the clumsiness also that we wish to have in our project. So this was in vitro lab still this year, where she was actually testing this new webcam interface with Avatar. Now I will talk about the biometric device, which was developed somewhat later, like 2011, the first prototype, and it was developed by Artica, a Portuguese company that worked with the theater. So they developed this with recycled tools, like as you see, the Polar and the microprocessor. Then there was an Arduino, and then the ZigBee for the communication, ZigBee receiver and sender. And then we have also a piezo. So we will have like the heartbeat and the sound of the air coming inside. As you see here, like it's on my body, like with a little you call it belt. With the biometric was in the belt, and then linked and communicating. We initially worked on during a residency in New Zealand with Todd Cochrane, where we interacted with colored LEDs projectors. We changed from blue to red, depending on like augmenting the numbers of the heartbeats. And then also the piezo will like have that change, like some to yellow to blue, passing through the green. So very interesting how I could watch my exhalation and then coming more calm. So this will like shifted very interestingly. And then we also had like the smoke coming in, like when getting into a certain heartbeat number, above, I think above 90 something, it will turn on the smoke, and then when we get down, it will turn off. So we liked very much, although this was not continued to be used because they were left, these output devices were left in New Zealand. And this was actually a second prototype built by Patrick Hurd from Welltech there, who actually 3D printed some of the modules and had more possibilities for sensors and communication. But as you see, it's still a bit hard and quite big. And it also, we didn't use it because it stayed in New Zealand, and I was back to Portugal and without it. This is like the new biometric device that we built just with a workshop in November last month, which was taught by Todd Cochrane, who brought these Wemos, which are very cheap and very small and include a Wi-Fi plug. So the cheapness and the small, as you see, it's really small. So this was we built because it can only get one sensor. So we installed a multiplexer and to allow more sensors. And right now we have we did a temperature sensor, heart rate with a piezo this time, and a light sensor that will detect movement. And it can go until 7 sensors. And of course, we want to add galvanic skin response, like to get the sweat, and as well the contraction, the muscle contraction, the EMG. So we are still in the process of finishing to build this, and the outputs. The outputs will be again like the LED projector, changing with the colors of the light and the intensity. We want to have, like, because now we are in Brazil, it's kind of hot, so we want, instead of I didn't mention, but before we also wanted, we are able to develop a ventilator output, a fan in vitro. This was a mediat with the older interface, and here we want to have again a fan, either turning on and off or like augmenting intensity, and one humidifier. Instead of a smoke machine, we want to have like one or more humidifiers, so it's like this smoke but with water vapor, and it brings this element of water that we also pursue. So to create this dialogue between internal climate and an external climate. So how we affect the environment, climate, actually, like in this literal way, simulating this changing in the environment by in this case, by the performers or visitors that get these devices, these wearable devices. And here I have a picture also of one of the devices, like wearable bracelet to install the device in the body. So in a sort of aesthetic, and also connecting with cultural aspects. In this case, artisanat from Brazil, and also indigenous. So these people are learning from indigenous people and building and selling these bracelets. And here we use them for having the wearable devices. So we are building several of these. We have 7, so we want to have like this ready middle next year. And so we are building this very much with the influence of getting influenced by the culture and making this as an important aspect of the project. So like the site specific and getting cultural aspects. And as well as from our collaborators, as we included animations with poses from ancient warriors, like avatars, ancient avatars. We got included in the animations and also in the heads. I would love to show a little demo of the interface, the webcam interface in this case, with the new mocap animations that we are developing at, as I mentioned, in the UFBA, the Brazil, the Bahia University, Federal University, the dance department, the postgraduate dance research. They have a mocap lab, which I am coordinating, and so we are bringing also to the animations. We are interested to include not only somatic, so we don't know somatic-based movements, so as we don't know what comes up, and using the mocap in this setup to be familiar and to don't care about these little markers, and to get really involved in what are we sensing and following it, even with closed eyes, so that we get more interesting and more internally based animations, movement animations, as well as also integrating like samba and salsa, like different social dances, and even like different percussion, body, African, Afro-Brazilian. So we're very much interested in accommodating, like encompassing all kinds of dances. And we also welcome the participants that come and bring their own animations in our performance, participatory performances. So to wrap up the presentation, I will just mention that this vision for full body embodiment to be a way to really interact with our avatars, bringing physicality to virtual interaction. I think it's a very key aspect for the future of virtual worlds. Otherwise, people will not get interested or so involved, as it's something like just to sit and click on the keyboard. So, and also like we like to embrace the errors and glitches of the different aspects of the communication and the systems, even including distortion, as I mentioned, these movements that it's probably the machine. Okay, I'm pretty much like just finishing up, so if it's too noisy, I can repeat, but so we are very interested in defamiliarizing our behavior. That's why we use, and also to get transformed, to get challenged, not only as dancers, but as people, as anyone, as pedestrians, as anyone that interacts in these modes. So I think we think this approach is really the one that can keep us grounded and expanding at the same time. Otherwise, we will just get more and more in our heads and in our in our avatars without being in our body, which is a pity and I think dangerous as human beings. So I want to thank very much to the OpenSync Conf and I'm very happy to be contributing to this conference and the future of these virtual worlds. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such a terrific presentation. But as a reminder to our audience, you can see what's coming up on the conference schedule at conference.opensimulator.org. Following this session at 4:30 p.m., we'll be evaluating VR platforms, OpenSimulator, Unity 3D, WebGL, and other applications. We encourage you to visit the OSCC16 Poster Expo in the OSCC Expo 3 region to find accompanying info on presentations and to explore the Hypergrid Tour resources in OSCC Expo 2 region, along with the sponsor and crowdfunder booths located throughout all of the OSCC Expo Zone regions. Thank you again to our speaker, Isabel, and to the audience.